This truck here is a classic Pakistani art truck. It failed to slow down over a pothole and slammed into the rough road. The wheel rim cracked instantly. The truck was stranded roadside. Luckily, it wasn't carrying any cargo. And just a few kilometers ahead, there was a repair shop. Less than 10 minutes after the call, a mechanic rushed over on a tricycle. But in his hurry, he forgot his tools. Fortunately, removing the wheel was simple. The driver already had all the tools on board. First, they lifted the truck with a jack. Then loosened the wheel nuts and removed the damaged wheel. Once the wheel was off, the rim damage was clearly visible. The cracks looked severe. After a careful inspection, the experienced mechanic said, a replacement rim section costs about $7. But roadside conditions weren't suitable, so the rim had to be taken back to the workshop for repairs. To repair the rim accurately, the first step was separating the rim from the tire. This steel rim wasn't difficult to remove. A pry bar was inserted into the gap, and the two parts came apart. Before replacing the rim edge, the mechanic used a lathe to machine the cracked section of the rim. The damaged area was removed completely to prepare for the new part. After the damaged section was cut off, it was time to make a new rim section. Since the driver often overloaded the truck, the mechanics decided to use steel plates from a large ship to build the new section. This steel is very tough and has excellent strength. The mechanic first marked the recycled steel plate precisely. Then the plate is cut along the marked line. With a compass for guidance, each circular steel plate comes out as neat as machine-cut pieces. After the cutting is done, the mechanic grabs a hammer and knocks the cut discs off the steel plate. They separate cleanly. This step requires both strength and skill, but the mechanic never misses. Using all his strength, he carefully removes each steel disc one by one. In less than a year, he could probably make enough to fill an entire tricycle. Next, the steel disc is placed under a special mold. The hydraulic press is activated. Under hundreds of tons of pressure, even fixed steel plates are gradually shaped by the mold into the basic form of the wheel center. The scene is almost amusing. People often say they handle pressure well, but under this hydraulic press, you learn what real pressure means. After the wheel center is formed, the mechanic follows the design specs and intended function to punch holes in the proper locations. These holes may look unimportant, but they help cool the wheel while driving and reduce metal stress, improving safety and durability. After the holes are punched, the wheel center is mounted on a lathe. A suitable cutting tool is installed, and the edges are carefully machined. Burrs and uneven spots are completely removed, leaving a smooth and even surface. Once the edge finishing is complete, it's time for the critical bolt hole step. The size of these holes, their spacing and position, must match the truck's wheel specifications. With absolute precision, there is no room for error. Once the bolt holes are finished, the mechanic then places the wheel center on the press. He selects the proper punch tool and aligns it with each bolt hole. Then he bevels the holes. The purpose of this step is to help the bolts fit smoothly during installation, without getting stuck in tight openings. It also helps prevent bolt damage. After enlarging the holes, the mechanic fits the new wheel center into the rim. He checks repeatedly to make sure the size and position are correct. Then he tack welds it in place. This temporarily holds the parts together. The reason for tack welding first is to avoid welding directly on the lathe and damaging the machine. After tack welding, the wheel is moved to a welding area for full welding. Once welding is complete, the welds look tight and clean. They're smooth and strong, almost like a brand new wheel. But the mechanic wants perfection, so he grabs a grinder and removes extra weld slack and rough edges. Every detail is refined. At this point, the wheel center repair is nearly complete. The mechanic then begins reassembling the wheel and tire. After assembly, the tire is inflated to the proper pressure. The wheel repair is now finished. Meanwhile, under the hot weather, the blazing sun, and since the truck broke down, he hadn't eaten all day. The driver survived on water alone, waiting patiently. Finally, the repaired wheel arrived. To get back on the road quickly, as soon as it arrived, the driver joined the mechanic to install the repaired wheel. As a veteran truck driver, installing a wheel was easy for him. Just like old school drivers, they not only drove, but also understood how to repair their vehicles. Because of that, many drivers from older generations could drive and fix vehicles as well. If something minor happened, they could solve it themselves. Many younger drivers today, let alone major repairs, often don't even know basic tasks like checking tire pressure or bleeding brakes. Anyway, enough talking. Working together, side by side, in less than 20 minutes, they secured the repaired wheel firmly onto the truck. Finally, they packed away the jack and tools. This stranded Pakistani art truck, you have to admire these Pakistani mechanics for their amazing repair skills.